And yeah, we were kind of teaching and doing our thing, and then we decided let's spend some time focusing on, doing what we can before we come out here and open academy. So we
Mm.
planned it a couple of years in advance. So James then went through to LA to train uh, with Hiron and Henna,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through to Rio to train at the Gracie Barra in Rio,
Wow.
um, and lived there for about 6 months and trained full time, which was an amazing experience.
I can imagine.
Oh my word, the standard was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you get guys like you know Pedro Pano, Braulio Estema. You'd have Marcio Fatosa.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a lot of world champions on the mat at the same time, and
That's
that
incredible.
was
You're rolling with them every day, pretty much, or at least learning
yes.
from them every day.
Well, this was the thing. I mean, it was an interesting dynamic. Um, because you'd go in there and you'd be the pyramid was upside down. You know the pyramid where you go, okay, so this many white belts, this many blues,
Right.
da, 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 da. The pyramid was upside down. There were very few white belts, more
Mm.
blues, more purples, more browns. They would do the class, and bearing in mind that Rio in the summer can get up to 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Gracie Barra HQ was on the top of a gym, no windows and a tin roof. So you
Wow. So you're probably training in 50, 60 degrees
yeah,
inside.
it's ridiculous. And
In a gi,
in a
obviously.
gi,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember walking up because you change downstairs and walk up and in a gi, and the water's already dripping off your nose by
Yeah.
the time you get to train. And then they do half an hour warm up. And the mindset there
Half an hour
is
warm up.
mm,
What does the warm up include?
lots
Hip
of
escapes and that kind of thing, or
lots of actually running up and down and pull ups and then hip escapes and that kind of thing. It was, I think, because of the dynamic there, the dynamic was we have experience in Jiu Jitsu, we want to compete. I'm going to spend some time doing fitness stuff because that's going to help
right,
competition because we already know technique. I think that
right,
was the kind of
yeah,
mindset there, which was exactly the opposite of the other side of the family.
mm,
Um, so yeah, so it'd be a long warm up, and then after you'd finished the class, there'd be a black belt class afterwards, and the black belts would walk in just before their class started, and they'll be sat in the corner chilling and watching, and then the time would come, and they'd walk onto the mat, and they'd look at you, and it'd be like, oh, it was killer. It was absolute killer.
yeah,
I remember actually. James came out for a little bit as well, and he was out there, and there was a guard pass, and he tried a guard pass on a guy, and a guy kind of blocked it. You know, you kind of drop your hip
mm-hmm.
like this. He broke the guy's arm, the guy's wrist,
Yeah,
and it was one of the black belts.
oof,
And he came back about 3 days later with his hand in a cast, and he was like,
let's go.
"Let's roll."
Oh no,
And
revenge on his
then
mind.
absolutely mullered him with his cast. But it was amazing to see. You'd see guys, a guy would take you to pieces. Like, oh, he's amazing. And then, Braulio Estimo would take him to pieces.
Mm,
Okay, well, there's another level. And then you'd see, Carlos Gracie Jr. would be there, and he would take Braulio Estimo to pieces.
mm,
And it gave you a real humbling experience because these are the very best in the world. And just to see those levels was absolutely phenomenal.
yeah.
It was something else, and it was a really good time. Um, yeah, really enjoyed it.
What was the language barrier like, or were people obviously people speak English, I'm sure, but what was there a language barrier? Actually, it's probably a better question. And if there was, how did you
There was a
overcome?
language barrier. I think Gracie Barra has become a lot more commercialized over the last few years. And back then it was very much okay. So we've got some gringos in,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. We'll do as normal, and then and obviously because it's a very tactile art, you can see what's going on, and you kind of pick up the words a little bit,
Mm,
and you learn how to order a beer in a bar very quickly,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
The important stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
um, it was a barrier, but I think because it's such a tactile art, you can see what's going on and you can see what he's demonstrating. So
Mm,
so it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And you get guys there would do privates with you that would speak in English as well.
right.
One guy, Busy Carrera, Speedy was his nickname, and I did a bunch of privates with him. and his English was good, so
Mm.
so that was fine. Yeah, it was a very interesting time.
And now do you speak Portuguese, or
No,
did you?
no, un pouco.
Okay, right. Okay, enough to get by to
Yeah,
if you need to.
yes, the very, very basics, but
Mm.
my Portuguese was never that great. I learned enough. My focus was on training, but yeah, just a few bits and pieces here and there. But I mean, that was 20 years ago now,
Mm.
so yeah,
Right. So if you were speaking and you don't speak it every day, it will fade.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd struggle a lot with it now.
And what was Brazil like other than just jiu-jitsu and being there to train and things? You know, what is Rio like? And is it like what we see on TV? You know, or
It's beautiful. It
yeah.
is absolutely beautiful. You know, the whole Sugarloaf Mountain and Christ the Redeemer and the mountains there are very green and they're next to the sea. I mean, it's very close to Cape Town in a lot of ways,
All right.
except the sea's a lot warmer.
Okay. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So you've got this whole culture of going into the sea. So you'd see, excuse me, everybody was very fit in
Mm-hmm.
general because of that beach culture and the going into the sea and that kind of thing. People were friendly. Baja was nice. Baja was one of the nicer suburbs.
Mm.
And the vibe was really nice. We also trained with Hoyler Gracie while we were out there as well, Hoyler's place, which was in town. And you know, they were a very friendly culture. I mean,
Mm.
Hoyler, I remember both our partners at the time were wowed by Hoyler because he's all, you know, very smiley and very chatty and very... Having said that, when we went through to his club, so we went through in plain gis, but we weren't white belts. So Hoyler came through and he's like, "Hi, gents," and chatted to us and he said, "Where are you training?" And I said, "Oh, I've been training at Baja." He said, "If you come to my club from another club and you wear your gi from that club, you do 10 push-ups. If you wear a blank gi, you do 20 push-ups." He said, "Be proud of your club."
Mm.
You know, which was kind of nice. But then before the class, he said to me, he said, "Why don't you just have a roll with that guy over there?" Was Brazilians.
Which is it's never a good sign
It's
if
never a
somebody
good
says
sign. The
that.
Brazilians are, you know, I mean, they are very, very competitive.
Yeah.
Very competitive. And I rode with this chap, and I was unconscious a couple of times in 2 or 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, I was, and I mean, this guy was excellent.
Mm.
And that was Hoyler's way of saying, "Oh yeah, you're training at Baja. Okay, well, this is one of my guys. This is the standard that we've got here."
Wow.
But it wasn't done in a nasty way
Yeah.
at all. It was like, just to let you know, this is the standard. Right, let's get on with the class.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that clip, I've got another one for you over here and over here. Please don't forget to subscribe over here and have a look at my other socials down in the description box below. Thanks for watching.